the lost city of Atlantis, myth, reality, and the search for a forgotten world. Imagine a civilization so advanced, so wealthy, and so powerful that it ruled vast oceans and dazzled the ancient world. Then, in a single day and night, it vanished. No survivors, no ruins, no certainty. For more than 2,000 years, explorers, kings, archaeologists, and dreamers have searched for Atlantis, the legendary lost city said to have disappeared beneath the sea. But was Atlantis a real place, or is it history's greatest myth? Tonight we journey through ancient legends, forgotten civilizations, sunken worlds, and one of the greatest mysteries humanity has ever created. The ocean keeps secrets better than any kingdom. Beneath the waves lie drowned cities, ancient shipwrecks, and entire landscapes swallowed by rising seas. Every year, archaeologists discover new traces of lost worlds hidden beneath sand and water. Yet no lost city captures the imagination quite like Atlantis. For centuries, people have claimed to find it everywhere, from the depths of the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea, from Antarctica to the Caribbean. Entire expeditions have been launched. Fortunes have been spent, maps have been drawn, theories have risen and fallen, and still, Atlantis remains missing. To understand why this mystery refuses to die, we must travel back nearly 2,400 years to a philosopher named Plato, the man who started it all, Athens, around 360 BC. The city is alive with merchants, philosophers, politicians, and sailors returning from distant shores. Among them walks Plato, one of history's most influential thinkers. In two of his writings, Timaeus and Critias, Plato tells a remarkable story. According to him, beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar, there once existed a mighty island kingdom, Atlantis. It was larger than entire known regions of the ancient world. Its people possessed enormous wealth. Its harbors overflowed with ships. Its fields produced abundant crops. Its engineers constructed magnificent canals and enormous temples. At the center stood a spectacular capital city, built in concentric rings of land and water. Bridges crossed circular waterways. Massive walls gleamed with precious metals. Ships moved effortlessly through carefully designed channels. To Plato's audience, Atlantis sounded almost magical, but its greatest strength was also its downfall. As generations passed, the Atlanteans became greedy. Power corrupted them. Their moral character declined. The gods became angry, and then came the punishment. Earthquakes, floods, chaos. In a single terrible catastrophe, Atlantis disappeared beneath the sea, gone forever, or so the story claimed. For centuries, scholars have debated a simple question. Did Plato believe Atlantis was real, or was it merely a story? The answer remains surprisingly complicated. Plato was not writing history in the modern sense. He often used fictional narratives to explore philosophical ideas. In many ways, Atlantis serves as a warning, a tale about arrogance, a lesson about power, a civilization destroyed not only by nature, but by its own corruption. Many historians believe Atlantis was intended as a metaphor, a dramatic example illustrating Plato's political and moral beliefs. Yet something about the story feels unusually detailed. Plato describes geography, architecture, government structures, military power, engineering achievements. The account contains far more specifics than many ancient myths. This has led generations of researchers to wonder, what if Plato based Atlantis on a real event, perhaps not an entire lost empire, but a distant memory, a disaster preserved through centuries of storytelling? If so, where should we look? Nearly 1,000 years before Plato lived, another civilization dominated the Mediterranean, the Minoans. Their island home was Crete, and at first glance, their world seems astonishingly familiar. Vast palaces rose above bustling settlements. Colorful frescoes decorated walls. Merchants traded across enormous distances. Sophisticated plumbing systems carried water through cities. Their ships connected cultures across the sea. Compared to many neighboring societies, the Minoans appeared remarkably advanced. Then disaster struck. Around 1600 BC, a volcano on the nearby island of Thera, exploded with unimaginable force. The eruption ranks among the largest in human history. Ash darkened skies. Tsunamis raced across the Mediterranean. Entire settlements vanished. The landscape itself was transformed. Standing on a shoreline that day would have felt like witnessing the end of the world. For some researchers, the similarities are impossible to ignore. An advanced island civilization, a catastrophic natural disaster, a dramatic decline. Could stories of the Minoans have survived for centuries before eventually becoming Plato's Atlantis? The theory remains one of the most compelling explanations ever proposed, but it is far from the only one. The search for Atlantis eventually became global. Every generation seemed determined to find it. Some searched the Atlantic Ocean itself. Others looked near Spain. Some believed Atlantis rested beneath the Caribbean. Others pointed toward the Azores Islands. A few theorists even proposed Antarctica. Maps appeared showing imaginary coastlines. Ancient texts were reinterpreted. Strange underwater formations were hailed as proof, then dismissed, then rediscovered, again and again. The pattern repeated. A sensational discovery would make headlines. Excitement would spread. Books would be written. Documentaries would be produced. And eventually, evidence would fail to support the claim. Yet the search never stopped, because Atlantis had become more than a location. It had become an idea, the possibility that somewhere beneath the waves lies a forgotten chapter of human history, waiting to be found. Ironically, while Atlantis remains elusive, real lost cities have been discovered underwater. Across the globe, archaeologists have uncovered astonishing submerged settlements, ancient roads, harbors, temples, entire neighborhoods. Many were drowned by rising sea levels after the last ice age. Others disappeared because of earthquakes, floods, or coastal changes. Imagine standing on a shoreline 12,000 years ago. The sea would be far lower. Vast stretches of land now underwater would be dry ground. People lived there, built homes there, raised families there. When the climate changed, oceans slowly advanced. Generation after generation watched the water creep closer, until eventually the sea reclaimed everything. These discoveries reveal an important truth. The world really has lost civilizations, not mythical kingdoms, but real human communities erased by time and water. Atlantis may not exist exactly as described, yet the phenomenon behind the legend certainly does. Most ancient myths eventually fade. Atlantis did the opposite. Its popularity exploded, especially during the modern era. Writers imagined advanced technologies. Mystics connected Atlantis to hidden wisdom. Adventure novels transformed it into a forgotten superpower. Hollywood added its own interpretations. Video games, films, television shows, and books continued expanding the legend. The mystery evolved with every generation. Each era projected its hopes and fears onto Atlantis. For some, it represented lost knowledge. For others, it symbolized human arrogance. To many, it became proof that history still contains secrets. And perhaps that is why Atlantis endures. Because deep down, people love mysteries that remain unsolved. A solved puzzle ends. An unsolved one lives forever. Let's imagine for a moment that Atlantis truly existed, not exactly as Plato described, but as a real civilization hidden somewhere in the distant past. What would discovering it mean? The implications would be enormous. It could rewrite chapters of history, transform our understanding of ancient trade, reveal technologies we never knew existed, uncover forgotten languages, expose connections between cultures long thought isolated. Entire academic fields would be shaken overnight. The discovery would rank among the greatest archaeological breakthroughs in human history. And perhaps that possibility keeps the search alive, not because evidence proves Atlantis exists, but because the reward for finding it would be extraordinary. The dream remains irresistible. Yet perhaps the greatest mystery is not Atlantis itself. Perhaps the real mystery is us. Human beings have always looked backward, searching for lost golden ages, forgotten kingdoms, vanished worlds. Every civilization tells stories about what came before. Atlantis speaks to something deeply human: the fear that greatness can disappear, the realization that even the mightiest societies are temporary, the understanding that cities rise and cities fall, empires flourish and collapse. Nothing lasts forever, not even legends. And yet Atlantis somehow survives, not as a city, but as an idea. Today, somewhere beneath rolling waves, sunlight still filters through dark water onto ancient ruins scattered across the ocean floor. Some belong to civilizations we know, others remain unidentified. Future discoveries will undoubtedly reveal more lost worlds hidden beneath the sea. Whether Atlantis was a real kingdom, a memory of ancient disasters, or a philosophical tale created by Plato, its story continues to captivate humanity because it asks a timeless question: how much of our past has truly been lost? Perhaps the answer is more than we realize. And perhaps, somewhere in the depths, another forgotten world is still waiting to be found. History has a remarkable habit of surprising us. After all, every lost city was once considered impossible. If you enjoyed this journey into one of history's greatest mysteries, consider subscribing for more cinematic explorations of ancient civilizations, lost worlds, and forgotten eras. And let us know in the comments, which historical mystery should we explore next? Because the greatest stories of the past may still be hidden just beyond the horizon.